It is Friday, January 23rd, 2026. And once again, it looks like the account is up today, but in reality, I've just been flat as always. I mean, if we take a look at like the past year, ever since August or June, July, basically my account has done nothing. I mean, it's gone up, it's gone down. But it's basically the same account value as what is that, 6 months ago, 7 months ago. So even though it is green today, I don't feel green, if that makes any sense. But the past week I am down 1.15%. Past month is down 4.33%. Past 3 months is a little over 15%. Year to date is almost 2% down. And then, of course, past year, 68% green. And then of all time is 383.5 green. So if we take a look back over here, you can kind of see this wedge right here. So it seems like we've been consolidating, building a wedge. Looks like a big move is wanting to happen here shortly. I just don't know when, and I don't really know which direction. A lot of people think it's going to be down, but I'm not so sure. The market's really good at throwing you off, tricking you a little bit. I think for the most part, people would say that 2026, 2027, there's going to be some sort of correction or like slowdown, right? At least, people that follow the Sam Bennett chart. Now, if you listen to Wall Streeters, I think a lot of them are bullish. So you have that. But it's also kind of weird because there's still, I would say, a healthy amount of fear in the market. If you take a look at the big techs, a lot of them are down. I think Apple is really oversold right now. I didn't say it's a buy, but I did say, it's very oversold in like the lower time frames. So you can't really say that a slowdown, at least some sort, hasn't already happened. And even though I usually don't show you guys my E-Trade account, and so a lot of you guys that are new probably don't even know what I'm talking about, but I did go ahead and buy a little bit of a 2x levered Apple ETF. I bought a little bit of an Adobe leveraged ETF, and what's the third one? Netflix. So Apple, Adobe, Netflix, leveraged ETFs. I bought a little bit in my E-Trade account, and that's basically like my more speculative account that I'm in and out of positions of. I don't really buy and hold for the long term in that one. And any of my long-term viewers, you guys will know that account was the one where I started off with $5,000. I lost half of it, so I was trading in and out. Just trying to learn day trading and whatnot, options trading, and I basically lost half of it. So it was at 2,500 roughly, and I was able to get that back up to almost $6,000 now. So last year was very good for me in terms of my E-Trade account, of course. But we'll see how these three positions will go: Apple, Adobe, and Netflix, leveraged ETFs in my E-Trade account. Just a little bit though, not a whole lot, because I don't want to go too crazy with that one in 2026 until we see that slowdown that I think most people on X or whatever are expecting, right? So it's like, I guess it's my small cash balance. But we do have some option positions open. In terms of my option positions, I think that VFC one, if they actually do spike on earnings, which there is a very decent probability that they will, I think Lulu, if I'm not mistaken, has been kind of coming up a little bit lately. Unfortunately, Nike has not joined the party yet. It did go up a little bit after the CEO bought, and of course Tim Cook bought, and some other insiders also bought Nike stocks. So it did go up a little bit. But I think there is a decent probability that VFC will go up. But it is what it is. If it hits $25 per share by 130, I only have 145 shares. I want to say, where is it? Yeah, I only have 145 shares. So if I get called away and I end up with $2,500 in my cash balance extra. It is what it is. I'll still have 45 shares left over, and it was never really like a super, I guess, like big bullish position for me. Mostly I just wanted to buy VFC because I thought a lot of the clothing stocks were oversold. If you guys remember when I was buying and trading Kohl's, American Eagle, and that whole crazy situation that was going on there, a little bit of Levi's. I did also buy, of course, a little bit of VFC and Nike, a lot of Nike. But if I get my 100 shares called away after earnings, it is what it is. If I'm able to roll it out a little bit for a decent chunk of premium, I might consider that. And just keep collecting the dividends, of course, on top of the option rolling. It is what it is, but I wouldn't mind just collecting the $2,000. But that Palantir for $100 per share expiring at 220, I think I will finally let that one go and just collect my 10 grand in cash, just so I can build up a little bit more of a cash balance, possibly sell some more options on different stocks, because it's not like I'm going to be collecting a whole lot if I roll that 100 one out. Let's just go ahead and check it out so I can actually show you guys. So it expires 220. Let's say instead of February, March, let's go April. Let's go down. So let's say I wanted just to roll it for the same strike, right? All the way out to April. It's roughly $130. So it's not bad, but I am also increasing the time by almost 2 months, right? Or basically 2 months. So I also have to keep that in mind. Is it worth $65 per month to hold on to this covered call, right? Or would that 10 grand be better off in different positions, right? What's the opportunity cost? Because if I just have that 10 grand in my buying power and I'm able to place that trade on, let's say, maybe Lemonade, right? Make a trade on Lemonade, and I'm able to take that 10 grand and turn it into maybe 11 or 12 grand, right? Within the span of that 2 months, is it worth that opportunity cost, right? Just to collect $130. So it's just something I have to keep in mind, but I do think I will finally let this one go. If any of you guys have been watching me for a while now, you'll know that my entire Palantir position is basically pure profit. If we go down to total return, it used to be a 1,000% gainer for me, 1,000 plus back when it was, I guess like 180 something, somewhere around there. So it was 1,000% gainer for me. Robinhood was another one too, but I do think I will finally let that one go because I've sold enough covered calls to where my entire principal amount, the amount that I put into the stock to turn it into 33K. So that's like what 3K it looks like right there. So total return is 30, and then my equity is almost 34. So so the amount of principal that I put into Palantir, I basically made it all back and then some, right? So I am very much into the green with Palantir. So I might just collect that 10 grand, pull it out, and just put that money to work somewhere else. Because if I hold Palantir shares, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't know how much more upside there is for Palantir for 2026 and 2027. And I don't know how lucrative and profitable constant rolling of those covered calls will be. And of course, like I said, I have to keep in mind the opportunity cost. So most likely I will and just pull that 10 grand out. If we take a look at Robinhood, it's up 2% today, 108. Robinhood is another one that hasn't really done much for a while now. I don't think it's as oversold as Apple in the short time frames, but I think Robinhood has been one of those flatter stocks, if that makes any sense. So since July. So, Robinhood is my number one position. So the chart for Robinhood is going to look very similar to my account. But yeah, so Robinhood has been in this big wedge, and it's been consolidating for a while now. So, like I said, a lot of people are a little bit, I guess, either bearish or a little bit more cautious, like myself, for 2026 and 2027. But at the same time, you can't deny that a lot of big tech is oversold. A lot of big tech is very cheap right now, if in terms of fundamentals, if that's your thing. And like I pointed out, the technicals, Apple, very oversold, short time frames. Like I said, I put a small amount in a leveraged position in my E-Trade account, just a small speculative amount. And other stocks like Nike, right? I think crypto itself too. Ethereum was at 3,300 not too long ago, like over this past weekend, right? But then that whole tariff thing, all that bad news started to hit the markets, and Ethereum started dipping below $3,000. So crypto has also been in a cool down. Obviously, gold and silver has been outperforming crypto, which is kind of, I don't want to say strange because anything can happen in the market, but it was unexpected for a lot of crypto people, right? And for just most people in general. So, crypto hasn't really done anything, and a little bit oversold. A lot of big tech hasn't really done anything, a little oversold. A lot of these beaten down stocks like Nike, PayPal, right? A lot of these stocks have also been beaten down. SoFi has been consolidating a long time, around $25. Honest, right? A lot of small caps have been beaten down too. A lot of consumer stocks like Pepsi haven't done anything, right? I want to say American Express has also been consolidating for a while now. So you have all these stocks that just haven't really done anything. Netflix also beaten down. But then you have other stocks like Lemonade that have been on a tear, right? And will most likely continue. Oh man, 200% past year. I really wish I had more Lemonade. But as you can see, it's been consolidating for a long time. And if this chart looks very familiar, it's probably because it looks very similar to the chart of Robinhood back during like the 2022, 2023 time frame. So like Robinhood was also hovering at around $8-10, maybe dipping to the sevens a little bit, and then it started spiking, right? And then if any of you guys remember, it did come all the way back down to like $30 1 week, and then it was just up only from there. So this chart looks very similar to me. It's very familiar to me, I should say, and it's very similar to the chart of Robinhood. I'm not going to say that the performance is going to be same to Robinhood, right? Anytime I buy a stock, I don't fully expect 1,000% return, right? It just happens as I'm buying and holding. But this chart right here looks very similar to the Robinhood chart. So Lemonade could definitely get to the hundreds, right? So like I said, lots of areas and different asset classes very oversold. A lot of these types of stocks like Lemonade, it looks like their moves are just beginning. So it's hard to say that a crash is going to come. But Disney's another one that's been beaten down and consolidating for a while now. So yeah, it's hard to say that a crash is going to come. When it comes to my previous videos, I think it's safe to say that you guys definitely prefer these like iPhone screen record type of videos, even though I think they're much less effort, if that makes sense. Like it's just me recording my iPhone screen. I personally enjoy the ones that I actually record like on my computer that are an hour long, right? That I actually have to like turn on a webcam for, stuff like that. I thought that would get more views, but I guess not. You guys are definitely liking just my old school, put on my iPhone, screen record, whatever, and just record whatever's on my screen. I guess I'll keep doing these types of videos for you guys, but when we look at the top comments on my previous videos. We have A. Carl, OG of the channel, saying Dan is buying stocks live. Seems crazy how this market and most of our portfolios seemingly gone down more than we would have thought back in the summer. And yeah, I think, like I said, a lot of this is just consolidation, possibly for a move higher and then maybe a dip towards end of year. But like I said, just because I expect it doesn't mean it's going to happen. But definitely, I do want to do a lot more live stock buying and trading type stuff, especially around earnings. Obviously, it doesn't make sense for me to live stream right now when I can barely get any views on my long format videos, right? But we have Bun says 7K or 70K. 7K is on your app. So I think you're referring to the daily performance, not the from all-time high. So, I think from all-time high, I'm down almost 70K, 60K, somewhere around there. Nice account size, by the way. I'm halfway there. Well, congrats, Bun. You just got to keep going. Like I said, most of my profits are from buying and holding. So whenever you do have a big winner, or you're crawling out of that bear market, you just hold. Don't get sucked into like selling covered calls too early. When we're just entering the bull market, any of that type of stuff, don't get sucked into that fantasy of passive income from covered calls and capping your upside, right? As you're crawling back out of that bear market, just kind of ride that wave of the next bull market. And then whenever we start to get to like the tail end of that bull market, like how I kind of think we are, like maybe more towards like 2026, 2027 tail end, you can slowly start to sell covered calls, kind of like how I did with Palantir, right? I pulled all of my profit or all of my principal out. And with Robinhood, I've made a very decent amount of money off of covered calls. So just kind of let your winners win. And then, slowly, when the market gets a little bit too greedy, or we get maybe closer to the tail end of the bull market, maybe you're a year or two a little bit too early, but then you can, if you want to, dabble into like selling covered calls or whatnot. But I don't like to do it too much. I only like to sell a little bit at a time. And if any of you guys are interested in that, I do have some of my older videos where I was selling those Robinhood covered calls, and you can kind of see my thought process and how much I made is also in those videos. But yeah,